One of the things that I respect about Kurt Cobain is that based on conversation I've had with, people who knew him and things I've read about him, it seems to me that he was much more of a down to earth person than a lot of other people who become famous. In general, I find that, more so now than before, especially because of things like social media, it seems that the notion of being, humble and real isn't really important.
MTV Cribs did as much damage to humanity as any show I've ever seen. It concentrated on the material nature of the business, and it was bullshit too, because half the stuff was made up. The cars were borrowed, the house wasn't their house. It was a fake. It was like fake. It was like the Real Housewives. It was fake. I pitched a show to them called, I said, you want to do MTV Cribs? Why don't we do MTV Foreclosures? Which would be a 2-year follow-up to those people, so they, I could just see it now, So we're staying at the house of Ice Cream. He's now living in a basement in Pensacola, having lost everything due to drugs. And I'm not going to, hello, Ice Cream, get out of here, get out of here. I lost my money. Or we're here with, Incest and the Motherfuckers, like some metal band, and they made, all these bands, the problem is that everything becomes a sideshow after a while. So, when hip hop became all glitzy and glammy and minus the message, so you had Tupac with a message, and then you just had the Yin Yang Twins, like you just had the goof. And there's always been there's goofy rock, there's goofy hip hop, and then there's serious rock and serious hip hop. And this celebrity culture business, it's problematic, but not just in the music industry. It's the same thing with acting. Back in the 60s, Daniel, when you saw the Academy Awards on TV, you didn't watch an hour's worth of comments over the Yves Saint Laurent dresses that the women are wearing. They were not parading around in jewelry from Tiffany or from Bulgari or whatever. They were actors showing up to get an award. Everything has become an advertisement now, and everything has become merchandisable. And now when you say to some artists, what's your goal? They don't say to make a great song. It's like, well, I'm going to open up a sneaker company. I'm going to have a t-shirt company. I'm going to have a perfume. It's like, wait a minute. Isn't the focus supposed to be your art? So this commercialism that has grown exponentially from it is a byproduct of media. And by the way, more power to anybody. You're not selling heroin to school kids, right? So you have a right to market yourself any way you want. It just cheapens, to me, what is considered the authenticity of the artist. I like to think my artist is authentic. If I think my artist is really just doing this as nothing more than another piece of merchandisable marketing, I'm less enamored with the artist. I've lived in the same place all my life. I think that's part of it. And where I live in New York City, the people who know me here know me as just John, because they've known me for years. This JJ, I learned a long time ago that JJ French is a third-person commodity to me. And while I lived it for many years within the context of the band, when I'm around here, you never can call me that. No one would ever dare call me JJ in this neighborhood, because if you did, that means you don't know me. In fact, if you know me, really, you call me by my real former last name, which is Segal. So the guys I went to school with would always, growing up, it was a Yo Segal, like you see it on the street. And so when I hear Yo Segal, I know it's a guy that I've known for 30, 40, 50 years. Those relationships matter to me. If you look at, George Harrison, and I'm not putting myself in that league, but what I mean is, if you really study artists that have been around for a long time who have a lot of celebrity, and you see the people around them, you see that they're with their oldest friends. So George Harrison died in the home of Paul McCartney. That's not the purpose is not to talk about he died at Paul McCartney's house, but but Paul let him stay at his house in L.A., and at his bedside were his wife and his son and his oldest friend, I believe, was at his bedside. Right. So, if you look at the George Harrison Scorsese movie on his final of the concert they did for George, look who's in the band. It's It's Joe Brown, who was his buddy, going back for years. If you look at John Lennon, he brought around his buddies who he was with. You need that. Because without that, you believe all the BS that's out there. So if you're not with the people who can call you on it, then you're nothing. I think Sinatra kept Dean Martin around because Dean could tell Sinatra to go fuck himself. Nobody could tell Frank to fuck himself. And Dean could tell him to go fuck yourself. And he took it. He needs it. Everybody kind of needs that. And I think for me, I don't have time for hero worship nonsense, especially in where I live. It's both. Look, I was the president of my tenants association. So when the building converted, I had to defend these tenants. I was a tenant. I was a rental. I wasn't an owner. And, most of the people are older and I've grown up with them. And they asked me to act as their advocate. That's humbling. These older people you grew up with are saying, Johnny, help us. You do it. So, it's just a personality thing. And by the way, where I live in Manhattan on the Upper West Side, there's famous people everywhere. We run into we will always bump into each other in local supermarkets and stuff because everybody goes out to buy stuff. And if they know me or I know them, it's, hey, it's like that. But nobody bothers you. Like nobody comes up to you and talks to you anyway. John Lennon horribly was killed by this moron, but he did this whole interview in which he was saying he loved the West Side because you walk down the street and they may go, hey, John, or how's Sean? And that's it, and he loved that ability to just walk around and not feel like you're being put upon. So that's a luxury to me. And that's just my personality. Some people, I can't speak to other people's ability to fend off the desire to be famous. But when I see this shit and I go, I want to be famous, I say to myself, well, maybe it's just that I'm older, but you really don't want to be famous. Trust me. You don't really want to be famous. This is how famous I am, Daniel. I know this is like a long answer, but Tony Danza was asked this question. He goes, oh, you're a real celebrity. What's it like to be famous? He goes, I'm famous enough to get a restaurant reservation and get a good doctor. Meaning he can go, I'm Tony Danza, and that's exactly how I can. I can call up in New York, say I'm so-and-so from Twisted Sister, get a good restaurant reservation. If I need medical assistance and people are having trouble getting appointments, I can say I'm so-and-so. And I can get an appointment. I'm sorry. This is me, and I'll just so that's it. That's fame enough for me. I don't need more. I don't need people coming up to me in airports and shit like that. I don't need it.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe for more because there is a lot more to come. All the videos on my channel are original. I'm the one filming, editing, and conducting all the interviews. So if you guys like what you see and you want to support, the best way to do so is honestly just to subscribe. Thanks for watching.